Hello and welcome to another edition of Bangladesh Today. Today we have in our show General J.F.R. Jacob. General Jacob reached the pinnacle of his career in 1971 when he planned and oversaw operations leading to the fall of Dhaka and the formation of Bangladesh, and obtained an unconditional public surrender, the only one in history, of the Pakistan army of 93,000 led by General Niazi. General Jacob, when General MALACCA was asked by Mrs. Gandhi to go inside East Pakistan, he told her that the Indian army is not ready, and many saw that as an act of cowardice. Later, of course, we got to know that it required planning. Strategically, we were not ready because of the terrain and we were not equipped for it. Could you tell me what was the sequence of events that led to your entering there?
What happened was this. Mrs. Gandhi and the government were pushing MALACCA to move in. MALACCA was pushing me. He rang me 3 times. I gave him the reasons. I said, look, we are mountain divisions. We don't have any bridges. There are many rivers to cross. The monsoon is about to break. There's no logistics, and we need time to prepare. So we don't have transport. So he said, send me a brief. So I sent a brief by hand of Brigadier Saitna, and Mrs. Gandhi met him in the operations room with the finance, defense, and external affairs ministers and 1 or 2 of the IAS. And Sam read out my brief, and Mrs. Gandhi said, okay, I accept it, you can move after 15 November.
Right.
So that was the first one. I must say that MALACCA stood up and he told Mrs. Gandhi, read out my brief, and she accepted it.
In war, strategy and tactics. Now, this was a tactic that you employed, that you're not going to take the towns, villages, ports. You're going to take the main capital.
The reason is this. We assessed, and we were right, that Niazi would defend territory, particularly the towns. So we know how long it takes to capture a town. It's a very long and tedious and many casualties. So we decided not to attack any of the towns, to bypass the towns and go straight for Dhaka. That was our strategy. Go a subsidiary tracks, not a main road, and go to Dhaka from many directions.
So you reached Dhaka, and very interesting that you went and had this long conversation with General Niazi, and you turned a surrender document. You made, in fact, a ceasefire document into a surrender document. What was this coup that you staged?
You see, the point is, I was talking to Niazi on the wireless for 3 days before this. Let me tell you some events that are very important. The war really started on 22nd November. We moved in to about 10 kilometers. And Yahya Khan in desperation attacked us on the night of the 3rd of December, and we moved according to plan. On the 13th, we were outside Dhaka. When we were outside Dhaka, on the 13th, the following events took place. First, the American fleet was in the Straits of Malacca. Secondly, UN resolution, American, vetoed by the Soviets. The Soviets said quite categorically no more vetoes. So there was consternation in Delhi. We got an order to move back and capture all the towns we had bypassed, but not Dhaka. On the 14th, we were lucky. We got an intercept, a meeting in Government House. We talked to the Air Force. We got it bombed. They did a very good job, the Air Force. And the governor resigned and went to the Intercontinental Hotel. That evening, Niazi and Farman Ali went to see the American Consul General Spivak with the following proposal: ceasefire under UN, hand over the government to UN, withdrawal under UN, no mention at all of India. So it was given to Bhutto in New York, who was attending the United Nations on the 15th. He rejected it outright. That night at the United Nations, he stormed out, tearing up the resolution.
Yeah, I remember, he threw it up.
And he said, we will fight on forever.
Yeah.
That's 15th night, our 16th morning. 16th morning, General MALACCA rings me and says, Jake, go and get a surrender. I said, I've sent you a surrender draft document. Do I negotiate on that? He says, you know what to do, just go.
Okay.
So I went taking with me my type copy on my typewriter, nothing to do with the government, nothing to do with Army headquarters, of the instrument of surrender. Important. So I arrive at Dhaka, met by Kelly, Mark Henry, a UN. The firing is going on still in Dhaka between the Mukti and the Pak Army. Mark Henry tells me that we're coming with you to take over the government. So I said, thank you, but no thank you. The Pak Army had sent me a car with the brigadier, so I went into that car. Hardly we gone a few hundred yards when the Mukti fired at the car. I don't blame Pak Army car. So I jumped up.
Say, Indian Army.
Yeah, so they stopped firing.
They stopped.
So we went there and I had this thing read out to Niazi. He said, said, I'm surrendering, you come here to you ceasefire.
Yeah.
So it went on and all his officers were there, generals and all grunts. And so
what did you say to him? I mean, what did you say to him?
I called him aside. I said, look,
you took him aside?
Yeah. I said, General, if you surrender, we can protect you, you have minorities and all. We can take that responsibility. But if you don't surrender, how can we take that responsibility? We wash my hands off anything that happens, because we cannot take it unless you surrender. In surrender, we guarantee your safety. So you think it over. I'll give you.
This was a bluff. I mean, he had 30,000 troops. You had 3,000.
He had 26,400 troops. I'll come to that. In Dhaka, we had 3,000.
And here you were telling him that you would protect him.
Yeah. Anyway, this is why I told him. I said, look, I can't give you better terms. We guarantee your minorities in this document. We've also guaranteed you will be treated with respect and gentlemen according to Geneva Conventions. I can't give you any better terms. Please think it over. I'll give you 30 minutes, and if you don't accept it, I will have no option but to order resumption of hostilities and bombing of Dhaka cantonment. Then I walked out. I said, what have I done? He has 26,400 troops. We have 3,000 or some 30 miles out of Mirpur. What do we do? I was pacing up and down. I was very worried. I said, Aurora is going to land in a little while. The ceasefire expires in a little while. What if he says no? What do? I have nothing in mind. I have nothing in mind. So I walked back. The paper I gave him was lying on the table. I said, General, do you accept this? I asked him 3 times. He didn't answer. So I picked it up and I said, take it as accepted. Then I said that you will surrender in the race course.
And then he surrendered his personal weapon.
That was at the ceremony later on.
Later, at the airport.
At the race course.
At the race course.
At the race course.
At the race course. Tell us about that personal weapon.
I'll just tell you. What happened was, we then moved to the airport. I had to go in his car because I had nowhere else. They were jumping on the car. The Mukti wanted to kill him. Eventually, we called down. So we had to get to the airport. He must surrender.
The Mukti wanted to assassinate him at that stage.
No, they didn't. I don't know. They jumped on the car.
They jumped on.
And wanted to threaten him. Anyway, we reached the airport. I was very lucky that 2 soldiers of the para.
But you had promised him safety after the surrender.
Yeah,
so you told the Mukti to stop and not kill him. Right.
Anyway, they stopped. We arrived at the airport. Then the shop. Fortunately, I picked up 2 para boys who were sightseeing. So I took them with me. And Tiger Siddiqui turned up with a truckload of his Mukti. He didn't do anything during the war. And he came with an aim to kill Niazi. So I put these 2 boys in front of Niazi and shoot him off the airfield.
This Tiger Siddiqui is of the Mukti?
Yeah.
And then later became part of the Bangladeshi army?
Yeah, he's a very famous chap.
Very famous, yes.
Anyway, when we got to once the thing was signed, what I called it, the people of Bangladesh rushed to lynch him. We had great difficulty in proving him into an army vehicle and whisking him off. We had very few troops in Dhaka, and it was really a matter of touch and go and a miracle. MacArthur had taken 12 days to prepare for surrender. Here, there was 4 hours. A negotiation and surrender was signed in 4 hours. All I say is I'll quote the Hamida Rahman Commission report. after when they to Niazi, they said, General Niazi, when you had 26,400 troops in Dhaka and the Indians only a few thousand outside,
Why did it?
you could have fought on for at least 2 more weeks. The UN was in session.
Yeah.
And had you fought on for even 1 more day, the Indians would have had to go back. Why then did you accept a shameful, unconditional public surrender and provide a guard of honor commanded by your ADC? And he said, I was compelled to do this by General Jacob, who blackmailed me, who threatened to bayonet my families and everything, and I had no option but to agree to his terms.
But you didn't do anything of that,
No,
sir.
all rubbish. Okay. Even his own officers denied that. There's no threat. Lastly, and not least, I would like to give credit to our officers and men. They fought magnificently. They did a brilliant campaign. We suffered 4,000 dead and 14,000 wounded.
Nobody remembers those.
Nobody. I was instrumental in putting Ahmad Jawan. The rifle and bayonet there is from the battlefield of J.S.R. Belonged soldier unknown. To this day, we don't have a war memorial. They have now agreed.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. We are very honored that you came to our studios.
Thank you.